Hello, my name is Holden and I'm a senior this year taking honors independent research. I was inspired to create my project because I was the project coordinator for the Iolani Key Club, and I was finding it difficult and tedious to to reach out to individual organizations to set up volunteer opportunities for our members. Because of this, I wanted to create a location-based volunteer application that allows users to easily access and sign up for volunteer opportunities in their local areas. Volunteering is defined by the free offering to do work. Volunteering is one of the most common activities in America, with each year 77.9 million Americans, or about 30% of the population, volunteer their unique skills, time, and labor to make a difference in communities around the world. With over 5.8 billion hours being dedicated to volunteering each year in America, volunteering has immense social and economic impact. Furthermore, when creating an application around volunteering, it is necessary to understand the barriers to volunteering to better design it. After analyzing a survey from the US Bureau of Labor Statistics, a study found that the most common reasons people did not volunteer were because one, a lack of time with 43.4% of people citing it, health issues with 14.0% of people citing it, not having enough information available with 4.3% of people citing it, and not enough information available with 4.3% of citing it. Some of these issues are not controllable, like health, while others can be influenced, like the lack of time or a need for better information and being able to find volunteer opportunities that fit within a volunteer skill set. Through the creation of a volunteering application, parts of these barriers can be overcome. For example, a volunteer app with a wide variety of volunteer opportunities will allow potential volunteers to be able to find an activity that matches their skill set. Continuing, the more volunteer opportunities available, the more likely a time slot fits a potential volunteer schedule. This can increase the person's ability to volunteer and will have a great effect on the number of volunteers, with over 43.4% of people citing lack of time as a reason why they don't volunteer. To create features in the application to attract the most amount of participants, I wanted to understand what motivates people to volunteer. To measure this, the volunteer functions inventory, or VFI for short, is used. The volunteers functions inventory divides the motivations of volunteering into 6 categories. The first motivation is values, or individuals wanting to express or act on important values like humanitarianism. The second motivation is understanding, or individuals wanting to seek knowledge or use skills that they are often unable to use. The third motivation is enhancement, or wanting to grow or develop psychologically through volunteer activities. The fourth motivation is career, or wanting to gain career-related experience through volunteering. The fifth motivation is social, or wanting to strengthen or build relationships. And lastly is protective, or wanting to reduce negative feelings like guilt or address personal problems through volunteering. Volunteers report that typically the motivations of values, understanding, and enhancement were the most important, while protective, career, and social values were less important functions of volunteering. Furthermore, another factor that often affects volunteering is having a shared identity with others. The sharing of a social identity increased the likelihood for a volunteer to continue volunteering and has served as a primary motivator for many. While there are other apps out there that serve a similar purpose, each is missing a key feature that I believe is essential to making a volunteer application successful. The most popular volunteer application right now in the App Store is Golden Volunteer Opportunities. While Golden Volunteer Opportunities does have a modern interface, it lacks 2 essential features that my application will have. For example, first, it lacks map-based navigation, meaning that users are only able to see volunteer opportunities through a standard search-based system. More importantly, however, the app lacks a variety of service opportunities in different areas. With the app being created by developers in California, there are only opportunities available in a small number of cities in California and a few other cities around the country. The second application that serves a similar purpose is called Helper Helper. Helper Helper lacks 3 essential components. Firstly, it does not have a user-friendly modern interface. Secondly, it lacks a variety of opportunities. And thirdly, it does not have a map-based interface. The last app, Just Serve, lacks similar things to Helper Helper, but has a more modern interface. Through understanding the barriers and motivations to volunteering, along with other challenges apps face, I created my engineering goals for my own application. The 4 main engineering goals I decided to have were to have a wide variety of volunteer opportunities, make the app both accessible on iOS and Android, use location-based notifications, and have an easily navigable interface. Keeping this in mind, keeping in mind my engineering goals, my overall purpose for my application is to create a location-based volunteer recruitment application to allow organizations to publicize volunteer events and enable volunteers to more easily access these opportunities. Moving on to my methods, two of the main tools I used to create my application were Flutter and Firebase. Flutter is an open source UI software development kit by Google. Flutter allows the applications to be developed that work both on Android and iOS. Flutter also allows access to a wide variety of packages that aid in the development of the application. Flutter code works by stacking different components known as widgets together to create a working interface. While Flutter is used to create the interface, Firebase is the tool that is used to store the data itself. Firebase is Google's real-time database for storing application information in the cloud. Firebase enables the application to sync across all devices when any updates are made. This is especially useful when new volunteer opportunities are updated to the application, will enable users to have the latest information on their app. Along with Flutter and Firebase to code the app and have location-based interface, I used Visual Studio Code and the Google Maps API. Visual Studio Code is a source code editor that supports debugging, syntax highlighting, intelligent code completion snippets, code refactoring, embedded Git, and a variety of extensions. VS Code also works in tandem with Xcode, Apple's development software, to simulate the application on an iPhone for testing. Continuing, the Google Maps API allows the application to have a fully functioning map built into its UI. By using the Google Maps API in my application, users will have a clear view through markers of which volunteer opportunities are available near them. Through using Flutter, Firebase, VS Code, and Google Maps, I was able to create my application. This is the first page of my application. So the first page of the application that I created was the home page. I created a location-based interface to allow volunteers to visualize the opportunities around them. This page works similarly to Google Maps or Apple Maps, allowing users to scroll around their area to discover new volunteer opportunities. The red marker on the screen represents the user's current location. If they want to reset the map back to their current location, they can click on the button in the bottom right. The other icons on the screen represent different volunteer opportunities. For example, the school icon near the top of the screen represents a school-related volunteer opportunity. The same goes for the beach icon. If the icon is clicked on, it pulls up the information window with a picture, the name, the date, the time, and a short description of the volunteer opportunity. If they're interested in the volunteer opportunity, they can like it by clicking the heart in the top right corner. Users can also search for volunteer opportunities through the map or by swiping through cards. If a user prefers a more traditional way of searching for volunteer opportunities, they can use the cards-based system. As seen in the centered picture, each card contains a picture and name of the volunteer opportunity. Users can swipe through the cards to find volunteer opportunities that interest them. They can also search for particular opportunities through using the search bar. Lastly, there is also categorical sorting in the application, so users can sort by the category of volunteer opportunity they're interested in participating in. Again, if they are interested in a volunteer opportunity, they can like it using the purple heart in the top right. Users are not only able to easily search for volunteer opportunities, they can also sign up to volunteer for them. After using the two different search methods I previously mentioned, the liked volunteer opportunities page allows them to sign up for these opportunities. When each card is pressed on the liked volunteer opportunity page, it brings up the user sign up page. Here, they're able to enter their name and other information, which will be collected by the volunteer organization to be then used to communicate and sign them up for the volunteer opportunity. If my application is successful, it will result in a wide variety of benefits for volunteers, organizations, and communities everywhere, including 1, volunteers will have a one-stop shop to find volunteer opportunities. 2, by having location-based notifications and UI, the application will allow volunteers to find opportunities near them, bringing together local communities and ensuring smaller organizations' needs are met. And 3, volunteering will increase because volunteers will be able to find opportunities that interest them and fit within their schedule. In future updates, I want to add further categorical sorting, messaging between organizations and users, and a point system to gamify the application. Further categorical sorting, for example, by time and date, will allow users to more easily find volunteer opportunities without having to scroll through countless others that they're not interested in or do not fit within their schedule. By having a messaging system, users would also be able to reach out to organizations to ask questions or clarify information about a volunteer opportunity. Lastly, adding a point system could help serve as an incentive for volunteers. With friendly competition with friends or family, users would be more motivated to complete more volunteer opportunities. Moving on to advice to next year students, I think that the first thing I would do is definitely choose a topic you're interested in because you're going to be working on it for 8 months. So if it's something that you're not actually interested in, you'll definitely just want to stop working on it. Secondly, I would also use the first quarter, this kind of goes with the first one, to thoroughly research your topic to see if it's something you'll actually learn about, enjoy learning about and experimenting about. Even if you may seem initially interested, after like doing further research, it may seem like too difficult or something that you're not actually interested in researching. 3 would be to make sure to work steadily on the assignments. And 4 would be to do your annotations on time. So I learned a lot this year, but 2 of the main things I learned were 1, how to actually create an app using Flutter, and 2, how to work with the Google Maps API and Firebase to actually store data from the application. 3, I also learned how to do scientific background research from like reputable articles and scientific sources. And 4, I learned how to manage my time and work on research on my own schedule rather than having a teacher tell me when stuff is due. Lastly, I wanted to thank Dr. Chan and Mrs. Kobayashi for guiding me through my research process and always being there to support me, give me feedback, and answer my questions. I'd also like to thank the Key Club for inspiring this project and my family for supporting me and providing me with everything I need to succeed. Thank you.